Are you frustrated with playing two-note slurs on the piano and feeling like you just can't get it right? You're not alone, and there's a simple trick that can help you change everything. First of all, what are two-note slurs? Well, they're two notes that are connected together. And so here is an example. Not to be confused when both the notes are the same. So in this case, we're going from a D to an E. Now, sometimes it shows a staccato, but often it doesn't. And even though it might not show a staccato, oftentimes we end with a staccato. And it adds phrasing to make notes sound more expressive. By the way, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Rosemarie, online piano teacher and composer at Must Love Music. We're going to do a little exercise today that I often do with my students to help them hear and gain a deeper understanding of concepts. So listen to these two examples. So that's example one. Here's example two. What are you hearing? Are you hearing a difference between those? Notice that the second one sounds automatically more musical and perhaps a little mysterious. If you want more guided help beyond this video, be sure to check out the link for our upcoming intro piano sessions. So step one is the drop. For beginner and early piano players, this can seem complicated, but it's actually not. You'll notice in piano technique that we often use opposites, opposite motion, opposite muscle groups, etc. to create sounds. Two-note slurs are two separate actions, a drop and a lift. So let's figure out that drop. What I want you to do is, I'm going to use my left arm just so that you can see it a little easier on the camera here. But instead of putting it on the keys, I'm just going to hold it up and I'm going to use my right hand to support it. Put all of your weight so that your right hand is holding it. Okay, can you feel it? Feel how heavy it is? Now what I want you to do is just let go. You probably didn't hear it, but there was a little slap as my hand hit my leg. The weight, when I wasn't supporting it, goes onto here. If you need to, stop the video, try this a few times, but definitely on your leg or your knee, this is a great place to start. So let's try that again. We're going to do this on the piano. So again, I'm going to support all my weight, and this is not going to make a good sound. We're not going for a good sound yet, but let go. It was horrible, right? It does help you understand. I didn't even bother trying to keep my fingers curved there. But when you let go, in this case, I tried to keep it quiet, but you're going to hear a loud sound and you're pushing all the way down to the bottom of the key. So go ahead and try it and type drop if you felt your arm weight fall to your knee or to the keys when you did this. The second motion in a two-note slur is the opposite of our first. That was a drop. Now we've got a lift. Again, start on your knee. I'm going to go right this time just so that I don't feel quite so lopsided. You usually want to do these things on both sides. It's really important, especially in piano, to make sure that you are building the strength and you're building the technique in both left and right hand. We're going to just place our hand on our knee, nice rounded position, okay? And it's going to look something like that, okay? When you just put your hand on your knee, it'll naturally feel like that. Keep your wrist and your fingers very loose. And what I want you to do is lift your wrist. Now, you can do the same thing to help you out. Use the opposite hand and right underneath where your wrist is, and I'm just going to go like this so you can kind of see. I'm going to lift. And do you see how my wrist is lifting, but my fingers are still? That's the motion we're going for. So pause the video, try it out. Your fingers are going to be the last thing to leave. All right, let's try this out on the piano. Again, if you want to help you, sometimes it can be easier having your other hand underneath. I'm not actually going to play anything, but I'm going to lift my wrist. And you see how my fingers, it's like they don't want to let go of the keys. Okay, and then we always want to go back into neutral. So once I've lifted, then I go into neutral. And it actually sets you up perfectly for another drop. Okay, go ahead and try this out. And so you can drop into note and lift. Excellent. Now, just before I get to the last step, I would love it if you could hit that like button if this video is helping you play 2-note slurs. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. So step 3 is we put it all together. Let's try it on our lap first. So I'll go left just so it's a little easier for you to see. I'm going to drop. So holding, drop, and then lift your wrist. Fingers come up last. Excellent. Once you feel like you have that both left and right hand sides, feel free to pause the video. Let's move it over to the piano. We're not going to worry too much about the notes yet. It takes time. I would say the harder part isn't so much the action, it's the keeping your fingers firm. That's the hard part of the 2-note slurs. And we're not going to worry about that too much at this point. Here we go. I'm going to drop in and lift. And I'm just doing it on one note. Go ahead, pause the video if you need to, try it out. All right, so here's an example of a 2-note slur with a drop at the end. So I'm dropping into the first note, I'm lifting to create that 2-note slur, and then actually there's an extra note that isn't part of the 2-note slur, and I'm going to drop back into that one. Drop. And did you see how my wrist, it was moving as I dropped in and it went a little bit low, lifted, and then drop into the next note. Feel free to try this out. It's really cool. If this is helpful, please consider subscribing. It means more than you know. While knowing how to play 2-note slurs will make you sound more musical, there is a skill that will help you sound musical no matter what you're playing. And that is playing without looking at the notes. Now, without this skill, you're going to always be stuck looking at the keys, not focusing on the artistry of what you're playing. So on your screen now, I'm going to be sharing a video so you can easily play keys without looking. Be sure to click that video. Thanks and happy playing.